From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One more corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hutchavandi
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Coming up on today's show, 2 transfer quarterbacks on campus at the same time. Mike, you're a wild man. And the Renegade Express mailbag questions. Wake Up Warchant presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, Tallahassee, Florida. CPTallyBar.com is a website. You can always place your order to go. But I tell you to hang out there because we just did it ourselves. We had our Christmas party there last night for Warchant.com. Shout out to everybody who came out. We were all there. The Brain Trust, Matt and Mike talking Cruton. Ira was there. Gene was there. Tom, Jeff, myself and Corey. Everybody significant others other than me. Good times. Take yourself out to the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Daily lunch special today is the cheesesteak sandwich. Cheese or steak, your choice. Only $8.99 with a side dish of your choice as well. We knocked out a whole big mailbag and then went to our Christmas party. And then at the Christmas party, we're like, ooh, DJ Lundy? Says he's going to enter the portal. That's interesting. Kalen DeLoach, Tatum Bethune, they have exhausted their eligibility. So he's obviously a guy that's going to be in their plans for next season. Blake Nicholson, maybe not ready this year. Clearly wasn't, involved in the game plans all that often, but they like him a lot. DeMarco Ward, not a lot. Omar Graham, spot duty. So you naturally start thinking, well, that's not good. But this is what the landscape is, everybody. Because if you are DJ Lundy, or if you are related to DJ Lundy, you probably realize all that and you start doing some math in your head. Not so much like he's here minus 4 other guys, but kind of like, well, this is a position that has value to it. I think my value might be a little bit higher now. It would be like if nobody else could do video. I'd be like, hey, Gene, I'm the only guy who knows how to do video. I think maybe I deserve a raise. So these are going to be interesting developments that will continue to occur until, January 2nd or 4th, whenever this window closes. So that happens. Rodney Hill also announces his intention to enter the transfer portal. Again, neither Lundy nor Hill, as we sit here and talk to you folks, and we, Corey Clark soon, have officially entered the portal. But hey, Benson, we talk about a little bit later in the show. You think he's probably leaving. Toafili's carved out a niche, but not necessarily your every down kind of back, although, shoot, without him, you probably don't beat Louisville. But Rodney Hill leaving, that's a little bit of a sting. You figured he would be involved in the future plans here. But, you got Keziah, Sam Singleton, Cam Davis is showing up. So, interesting times in the kingdom here as you have a successful program and you've got pieces that maybe want to be rewarded as though they were key parts of the success. All I'm saying, let's just exercise some restraint and not maybe telling these kids to kick rocks without socks, because who knows what will happen here in the coming days and weeks. But nonetheless, this is the life we live. This is the life we chose, and we've accepted the transfer portal. We being you, me, and Corey Clark. Let's bring him on in right now. Corey, how are you?
Good, buddy. Thanks for asking. Let's get right to it. No time for jibber jabber and pleasantries. Although I do want to say, did I not call Kirk Herbstreit? Did I not call it Aslan? I knew it was coming, and it came a lot quicker than I thought it would. He broke a little quicker than I thought, but that was funny to see on Wednesday.
Did he respond to your retweet yet as we record and talk about this?
Oh, I assume he blocked me. I don't check my mentions usually after I tweet something like that. But if you didn't see it, it's basically a screed. It was not a 140 or 280 character tweet. It was, I would guess, 500 words about just a lot of stuff. He brought up 2000. And how he didn't hear from Florida State fans then when FSU got in over Miami, even though Miami beat FSU. He then obviously conveniently left out that, number one, that was not a committee full of secret voters deciding who went to the Orange Bowl to play Oklahoma. But Miami was not undefeated. Miami and Florida State had the same record, and so did Washington. And Washington had beat Miami, and Miami beat Florida State. So I could see the argument to say, well, why does Florida State belong? All right, fine. But then Take Florida State out of the equation. Washington goes and plays Oklahoma, not Miami, because Washington beat Miami. Whatever. He just brought that up as a sign of, look how good you guys had it. Didn't hear from you guys then, but now you're bitching now just because Florida State has 0 losses and everybody else above them has 1 loss. Our 2 teams above them have 1 loss. But then he also said how much he's a fan of Florida State.
Really like Bobby Bowden.
Yeah, and the swag of the 80s. And then, he's a big fan of Mike Norvell. So.
There you go, everybody.
That was, but yes, it was.
Kirk's breaking. Ashley Moody's on the case.
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead. Let's jump to that. Our guy Mark in Naples. He's an attorney, everybody. Wake up. I see that the Florida AG, that means Attorney General, is starting an antitrust investigation into the CFP committee and how it operates. I appreciate the sentiment, and I wish the AG luck. Governor Ron DeSantis did pledge $1 million for legal expenses on the issue, so the Attorney General at least has a war chest to maybe rattle some cages. Antitrust laws are regulations that encourage competition by limiting the market power of any particular firm, in this case, ESPN. This is a tough case because ESPN does have a major competitor, Fox, in the Big Ten. So the Florida AG would have to prove that ESPN and its deal with the SEC so dominates the market that essentially crushes competition when push comes to shove. And since ESPN also has a deal with the ACC for football, the Florida AG would also have to prove that ESPN ACC deal is essentially a sham and that FSU has no ability to compete because of corrupt and incestuous ESPN SEC deal. Tall task.
Yes.
Corey will appreciate this. This would be like proving that the CIA and Joe Biden are still withholding 4,000 JFK assassination records because the CIA had a role in the plot. The evidence will never exist. Plausible deniability for all involved, including our buddy Herbie.
That's the key. And there's a very good podcast I've been listening to. Mark knows all this stuff because he's well versed in the JFK stuff. But it's called Who Killed JFK, and Rob Reiner and Soledad O'Brien host it. But it's really interesting. It's good stuff. Like, I know a lot about the case, but it's pretty illuminating, this stuff anyway. Hey, you guys didn't fire up this podcast to hear about JFK conspiracies when we got ESPN conspiracies to talk about. Yeah, look, like we talked about yesterday, right? This is not going to result in a court victory, right? We don't think that. And what would that even look like? What would it even mean? What is a win in this case?
Right.
As far as like a court victory, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what it would even be.
What is victory period?
Well, victory period would be like, you owe Florida State $12 million because you kept them from playing in 2 playoff games where they would have made X amount of money. Whatever that could be. There could be some financial reimbursement, I guess. But theoretically, there is no – I mean, not theoretically. Realistically, there is no victory. You're not going to get a chance to play for the national championship. You could hang up a banner if you wanted, especially if the AG wins. Like, Florida versus – Seminoles versus ESPN. That would be a cool banner to hang in Doak. But just the discovery portion of a potential lawsuit could be the only where you'd feel some vindication if you find anything in there that's worth that vindicates things and lets all you guys know that you're not imagining things and there might have been some shady stuff going on behind the scenes. That could happen in discovery.
Mark says, I appreciate the effort. Everyone sees the wrong here, but unfortunately, the billion-dollar corporate powers usually get away with these kinds of things. Let's go to Candy Knoll. If I can pull her up here. Let's give Corey some more juice in his system. Wake up. Just want to let Corey know I'm here for the anger and support you never getting over it.
Well,
Thanks, Candy.
Thank
Candy.
You, because I feel like I'm not any better, really, honestly. I'm not any better than I was a week ago.
I think the level of sadness or anger or frustration comes from the fact that this was the culmination of 4 years of work, and maybe it really is hard for the rest of the world to grasp that, but it's the truth. I suggest a contest for Ireland. Whoever has the best FSU-centric sign at game day Ireland, if they aren't inside the stadium, in which case take your signs to the game, gets paid trips to every other game day location the rest of the year to hold up that sign.
Yeah, Jeff Cameron volunteered to have that job, to be flown around the country to all the game day locations. I don't know that Warchant wouldn't sponsor that. Maybe the Battle's End would. I do think much like the Washington State flag was shown at all those college game days forever, or still might be.
Still is Old Crimson, yeah.
You could find, like when they're in Athens next year, you could get somebody from the Atlanta Seminole Booster Club to go to game day in Athens and hold up a sign. When they're in, name another SEC school. When they're in Austin, you can have somebody from the Dallas chapter or the Austin chapter. That's a big school. I don't know if they have I think they have their own Seminole club in Austin. I don't know, but they definitely do in Dallas. Have somebody from there go and hold up that sign. And just that's how you go around doing it, is you hire somebody from the local Florida State Seminole chapter or the closest one to that city and see if they'll have somebody show up on game day. But, yeah, now we just got to figure out the sign. It's got to be clever. It's got to be something they would allow, so it can't be profane, and it can't be, scatological. It's got to be something that's respectful, but also gets the point across.
Okay.
Maybe not respectful. That's not the right word, but it can't be, profane.
Jarenol 1518, when we're all in Dublin together and Kirk Herbstreit has hopefully handed the worst pour of Guinness that mankind has ever seen, who do you predict will emerge from the tunnel in Aviva Stadium as the Noles' first, second, and third string quarterbacks?
That question took a turn. As we talked about yesterday, we thought Cam Ward was coming on an official. We'd heard about it. We'd written about it on the boards, and we talked about it. That's locked and loaded. He is coming on an official visit this week. DJ Uiagalelei. Did I get close?
Uiagalelei.
Uiagalelei.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. DJ is coming as well, reportedly for Saturday. That's locked and loaded. But Cam Ward will be in Tallahassee first. I don't know. See, here's the thing now, Aslan. Who's better, Cam Ward or DJ?
Well, random_John wants us to answer that question, so way to bundle that one in there.
Okay, good.
I think it was him that said that. So I saw somebody here in the questions asking about it. Yeah, they want us to scout out the quarterbacks, which I haven't been able to do, everybody. I'm sorry. But I think Cam Ward is considered the better prospect.
Yes, he is. I've watched them both. I've watched more Washington State football than I thought I would, but I've watched them both. Cam Ward is the better quarterback. DJ's fine. Cam Ward is actually good. He can go win you games, just with sheer quarterback play. He's thrown for 110 touchdowns in college and well over 14,000 yards. He's legit.
Some of that's FCS level, but
he threw. Yeah, by the way, I did. So I was looking at his stats, and he threw for 31 touchdowns this year at Washington State, 28 last year, and then he had 47 in 21. I'm like, oh my God, how did he not win the Heisman? And then I forgot he was at Incarnate Word. But he showed the last 2 years in the Pac-12 that he can really play. That's not a joke of a conference. They do have some teams that play defense, not named USC. So he proved that he can play at a high level. And my point being, I think it adds another layer when you're battling Miami for him.
Yes.
Not only do you get yourself Cam Ward, you keep him away from your arch in-state rival.
Because they've got nothing.
Right.
I know maybe Tate Rodemaker doesn't have a high approval rating right now, but Tate Rodemaker can probably manage you 60 minutes, several weeks. Emory Williams, who knows how he's going to respond to that arm injury, and Jakuri, they just didn't trust him to do anything in a competitive football game. So, yes.
Yeah, so that's where I think it comes into play. I just think that adds an extra layer to it, man. Okay, if we don't hit his price tag or whatever he wants to see from Florida State, you make it imperative that you want him, because if you don't get him, it seems like he's going to go to Miami. And then you're playing against him, and he automatically bolsters your rival. So it's worth – I said this last year when I thought it was going to be between – I thought for a while it was looking like it was between LSU and Florida State for Keon Coleman. And I'm like, well, go get him just so LSU doesn't have him in the first game. Keep him away from a team you play. And I think that's the same thought process here. You don't want to break the bank, but everything being equal, if you have to go up a smidge more to keep him away from your rival, do it. So that would be my play there. But obviously, to a point, you're not going to go pay the kid $8 million or $5.5 million or whatever. But yes, I think it would be a really nice addition for you, clearly, and a needed addition, and it would be a huge loss for Miami, and that makes it doubly sweet.
I'm sorry, random_John. I somehow got you confused with WTF Nole. Wake up, Noles. First time asking a question. Born and raised in Tallahassee, currently live in Pensacola. When it comes to transfer portal quarterbacks, we know the upside to Cam Ward and DJ, but let's look at the downsides. What would you say are the downsides to both DJ Uiagalelei and Cam Ward, i.e. fumbles? Parenthetically, he adds Cam Ward, interceptions. He's got DJ there. I guess maybe Cam Ward's got fumble issues. Perhaps DJ has interception issues, sacks, and so forth. Haven't had a chance to do all that. I do know that, listen, Cam Ward came from a system in Incarnate Word where his coach left to be the OC at Washington State. That's how he ended up there in Pullman. And then when they left, they actually did better down at Incarnate Word. The guy who took over for him broke the FCS record for touchdown passes in a season. So, product of the system, question mark. Does think like Shannon Dawson, what they run down there in Miami, probably does fit his skill set a little bit more. So I don't know if it'd be as much plug-and-play success in Tallahassee as possibly could be in Coral Gables. So feels like this is much more of a thinking man's position playing quarterback at this school for this coaching staff. So maybe there's not as much of the upside with Cam Ward, who seems to be just a physical freak that can just chuck it all over the place and maybe not, go to the right read every single time the way kind of Jordan did. But it just seems like DJ's probably scarred more, right, Corey? I know he kind of rehabilitated himself in, Oregon State this past year, but feels like Cam Ward probably has a lot more, freshness of mind and hasn't been beat up and beat down by, big-time football the way DJ has.
Yeah, I would say the one thing that DJ has going for him is he's always been on a winning team. Even when he was struggling at Clemson, they were winning 10 games. So he knows what it's like to be in a winning culture, in a winning locker room. He knows what that looks like. I mean, we can make fun of that offense when he was there in 21 and 22, but they did win games. I think they won 10 each year, right? I think, even with him not being great. Yep. But then, but I think to me, DJ's weakness is he holds on to the ball a little bit too long, and he's not very accurate. I've seen pockets where he is not very accurate.
Yes.
He just, he has a cannon. But
he misfires. It's not so much making the wrong read. He misfires.
Yes, correct. Yeah, and look, it's always hard to know too what the play is, who the first read is. We're not privy to that information. It seemed to me sometimes it wouldn't come out of his hand quick. Much like, but it was the same thing with Klubnik. When I watched him against Duke, I'm like, man, he doesn't get rid of it at all. He doesn't see it quick. And it's something you recognize when you see it. Good quarterbacks see a play, see the read, get rid of the ball quick. They don't pump fake a lot and look around and then start getting skittish. And I saw that with DJ a good bit at Clemson, but not coincidentally, I saw it with Klubnik. So I think that might be more of an offense thing. And I have to admit, I didn't see DJ play a ton at Oregon State. I know he was better, much better, but I didn't see a lot of his games. So I would actually have to go back and watch how he played. I just know he has a cannon, and he can really be a weapon on the ground if he unleashes that, because he's just a big kid that can move. Cam Ward, weirdly, is not a weapon on the ground at all. At all. If you guys thought Jordan Travis didn't run, my man Cam Ward, what has he rushed for? He rushed for 58 yards in 2022, his first year at Washington State. 58 yards, and then 144 yards this year. So in 2 years, he's rushed for 200 yards. Now, the downside here is, and this I think is a weakness. I think you can look at this two different directions. I didn't follow Washington State that closely to know where the blame lies, but he was also sacked 84 times the last 2 years. 84 times. He was sacked 38 times this year and 46 times in 2022, which is two things. Number one, clearly he doesn't have the Cowboys' offensive line in front of him. He's having to run for his life a little bit, but also, when the sack numbers are that big, a lot of that is on the quarterback. Like, get rid of the ball, man. Get rid of the ball. Don't hold on to it forever. So that, to me, is the one that kind of concerns me more than anything else, is just the amount of sacks. But, yeah, his longest run from scrimmage at Washington State was 22 yards.
That ain't bad, though.
No, it's not bad, but it's not like a weapon. It's not like you could say, well, if you unleash Cam Ward's legs and let him run for 140, things will open up. That's not who he is. But yeah, he's 6'2", 220. He's really quick. That's why I was so surprised at the lack of rushing, because he is an athletic kid.
He's an extender, right? Like
yes, he'll extend plays. Yeah. Apparently, the problem is he'll extend them so long that he gets sacked. Because 84 sacks in 2 years, clearly a tough kid, but that's not good. When did Jordan Travis get sacked this year? Like 9 times, maybe.
Wazoo ranked 68th according to PFF in pass blocking out of 133 teams. So
that's middle of the road, though.
Yeah.
But getting sacked 46 times is incredible.
But that's that air raid stuff, though, man. Like, you just sit back, you're waiting for that vertical to open. You're like, all right, 15 yards, 20 yards, maybe, sack.
Yeah.
Dave, Bardstown, Kentucky. Bourbon's your friend. Corey alluded to the real benefit of the antitrust lawsuit and the cell phone record subpoena that comes with it. Remember, there was a cell phone record subpoena in a case regarding Houston Nutt, I think, going to Arkansas, that completely out of the blue discovered Hugh Freeze was calling Backpage escorts like it was going out of style. Halfway right. It did not involve Arkansas nor Houston Nutt. It was Mississippi State sympathizers trying to find recruiting impropriety, and then in the midst of going through the phone records of trying to pin bad recruiting tactics, they found that there was a number associated with a Backpage escort service. So fans, man, broke Hugh Freeze, broke Kirk Herbstreit. Power's in your hands, everybody. Mm-hmm. By the way, why has nobody made a big deal about the fact that his next job, all right, that's somewhat political. I'm not going to get into that one. Anyway, subpoena those cell phone records and text messages. I guarantee sports writers will be busy during the offseason. That's what happens when you snub FSU. Your texts are made public and your life is ruined. Scorched earth, MFers. Vitamin Energy kicking in right about now. Can you feel it? Yeah, I feel that one, Dave. Lots of heat coming out.
Absolutely, yeah. Scorched earth. Kirk, it is fun. It was funny. It was almost on cue. I'll admit I thought it would take a little while longer, but him and Dave wrote that before we even knew what Kirk was going to tweet on Wednesday. But it's funny. It's just funny.
All right.
Why does it bother him so much?
Dude, have you seen his replies, man? He's a human being. I mean, everything he talks about.
But that's why you don't. I'm a human being. I don't look at my replies.
Right.
Why is he looking at his replies? And 90% of my replies are positive because they're all Florida State fans. Like, why would you have a job like that and then look at your replies? For what purpose? That's my point. I get he's a human being, but people say vile stuff to me, and I'm basically a nobody when it comes to national college football. I am a nobody. But if you're it's crazy to look at replies. That's not his job. He's not a tweeter. He's a broadcaster. If Joe Buck looked at his replies all the time, he'd want to not do it anymore. Like, there's just people are mean. That's life. Yeah. So that was my issue. Is like, why don't just be you. Just post what you're going to post. Say what you're going to say. But when you let people, this is something that's last 10 years it's happened, where you see how he's going to double down and then he's going to triple down and quadruple down. And now he's going to paint Florida State fans as maniacs and complete and awful people. He's going to paint the entire fan base that way, not knowing they're reacting to him. And now he's going to react to their reaction. It's just a never-ending cycle of stupidity.
Yeah, it's
anyway,
cycle.
Let's go ahead.
All right. VitaminEnergy.com, promo code WordChamp BOGO. Maybe we all could use a little Mood Plus right about now. Relax a little bit. Enjoy the holiday season. It's fun this time of year. Make you feel a little bit better with some Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com, promo code is WordChamp BOGO, WordChamp BOGO. Buy one, get one free. As you know, Vitamin Energy, the world's first and only clinically tested and proven energy shot to reduce brain fog, help your energy, and improve your mood, and much more. Depends on which shot you want to take, because there's different nutrients and vitamins. It's energy with benefits. Head over to vitaminenergy.com. We got some Noles over there helping it out, running the show, giving that promo code WordChamp BOGO, WordChamp BOGO. Buy one, get one free. It's a good gift. Gift to yourself, gift to your friends, gift to your coworkers, gift to a disgruntled media shill. However you want to gift it this season, do it. It's your choice. VitaminEnergy.com, promo code WordChamp BOGO. Southernmost Seminole, wake up. Just want to say thanks for all you do. It's been a really hard week. Listening to you guys and Jeff in the afternoon has really helped. Keep being awesome and go Noles. Appreciate that, Southern Noles. Thank you.
We're going to try our best. We got no choice but to be awesome.
Noel Boyo 2, wake up. What 3 transfer portal players do you want to get the most? Walter Nolan, Cam Ward, and...
You know who I really liked, and I cannot remember his name. I know he's number 5. Talk about Oregon State. He's the linebacker from Oregon State who I think is in the portal, who's number 5. And I watched him play against Oregon that Friday night before the Florida State-Florida game.
Civil War.
That didn't matter. That game clearly mattered more than the Florida State-Florida game did the next night. But anyway, that dude to me looked like he was all over the field. And I remember watching him just the first drive, and Oregon went down and scored. But every good play that the Oregon State defense had, number 5 was there.
55 or 5?
I thought it was 5. Maybe it was 55. But I remember looking up the number. I remember I was so impressed. I'm like, who is this dude? Is he a sophomore? Is he from Florida? It just somehow ended up in Oregon? Is there any chance he could transfer to Tallahassee? Because they're going to have a dearth of linebackers. And so I actually looked him up. That's how good he was in the span of 2 drives that it made me look up their roster to see who he was, how much. I think he was a junior, so he does have a year left, and I think he entered his name in the portal.
Does he have a hyphenated name?
Maybe.
If I say his name, would it ring a bell?
Perhaps.
Easton Mascarenas Arnold?
That sounds right.
Okay. I don't know if he's in the portal or not, but he looks impressive. 5'11", though, not that tall.
Right. I do remember that. You're right. He was not tall, but he was all over the place.
Kind of like Nikita Whitlock. Was that the guy from Wake? That was like
yeah, he led the. Yeah, that's right. The defensive tackle that got first team instead of Jernigan. Yeah, man. Well, no, because it said that's not right. There's no way he only had 40. Oh yeah, he had 106 tackles this year.
Not bad.
2 sacks, 2 interceptions. Yeah, this is the kid. He's from Mission Viejo, California. But I want him.
Okay.
Easton Mascarenas Arnold from Oregon State. No connection to Florida State. He's 5'11", 228. He's from California. He plays at Oregon State. I'm almost positive he put his name in the portal. And yeah, he was very impressive. Marvin Jones Jr., what about him, Aslan?
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that because it happened late at night when we were already done wrapping and editing everything up. Yeah, I'll take him ahead of... Yeah, we're not going to get Walter Nolan. Not that, but that wasn't the question. Who do you think we're going to get? I'd like Walter Nolan, but I don't think he's culture fit, quote unquote, or whatever. So yeah, give me Marvin Jones Jr. Come home, man. Cam Ward, and then I'll defer to Corey, and we'll get that linebacker that we need.
Yeah, there you go. And then it's they can't deny you next year with those 3 dudes.
The Walking Knoll 01. So we got snubbed. I'm super bummed still, but in the words of our coach, time to respond. Thank goodness signing day is coming up. That will ease the pain along with the transfer portal to add in good pieces to fit where needed. Super excited about Marvin Jones Jr. in the portal. I know others have different opinions about him, but that kid played some really significant snaps for Georgia, so maybe we can get him home. No questions, really, just a comment. One thing I've learned in talking to SEC homers in Mississippi, I trust Mike Norvell. Everyone wants to ask me about who we will get at quarterback, but I know in the end our coaches have proven they know how to run a program, so the future looks bright no matter who joins us via the portal or high school ranks. Thanks for all you do, go Noles. Relevant point, right? You know, I was late to the party on it probably. I didn't trust a lot of what was going on early here. But yeah, you do feel like no matter what happens at quarterback, even if they were to get DJ over Cam, and I don't know if it'll be spun that they want a DJ more than Cam Ward, I give them the benefit of the doubt. They've earned enough equity for me to, realize that they're going to figure out what's best and they're going to make it work. So that's a good point. Thanks, Walking Knoll. Thanks, Walker.
Yeah, I agree. They've earned the benefit of the doubt, right?
Yeah. After
what they've done the last 4 years, and that was the point that who made the point about the last Candy Knoll, I think. That what was so. What made the snub worse was this was not Florida State getting snubbed in the 90s or getting snubbed like in 2014 or 15.
Yeah.
Florida State had been in the muck, man. They had been in the mud. They had been in a valley full of snakes and slugs, and they got out and became one of the best programs in the country. They are still obviously they're a brand name. They're a football powerhouse. And people around the country would look at Florida State and be like, oh, that's a blue blood. And it is a blue blood. But it's a blue blood that bled a lot for the last 3 years, man. And to finally get back to where they were was what made it such a cool, unique story, and that just wasn't appreciated at all.
Armchair Osceola, wake up, gentlemen. As disappointed as we all are not to be in Los Angeles or New Orleans, Fort Lauderdale in December sure beats visiting myself and NYC Nole up here in the Big Apple for the Pinstripe Bowl. Amen. Question: it seems extremely odd that these universities make hundreds of millions, even billions, of dollars from television contracts, yet NIL collectives ask alumni and fans to contribute for player compensation so that their team can be competitive? Almost as if the Miami Dolphins crowdfunded the city of Miami to raise funds to sign Tyreek Hill to a max. I get we're all still dealing with the student athlete for now, but how long will it take, in your estimation, for this to go full NFL light, contracts, incentives, etc., and for the athletes to become employees of the school, paid out of the revenue they generate? Feels like the only way to restore some order to this system. Thank you for bringing us fresh content in the middle of the Christmas Hanukkah seasons. P.S. Just joined Battle's End. Think we have a fantastic collective, but the entire system feels very flawed. Thank you, Armchair Osceola.
Yeah, thank you for the Battle's End. Thanks you for
your patronage.
Joining. Yeah. And yeah, man, I don't disagree. I think this will be this. I don't want to call it a loophole, but this reality we've been living in for a couple years, I think will not be a reality at least by the end of the decade. They are going to figure out a way, because this is untenable. And the point is absolutely true. Like, the Atlanta Falcons fans don't have to raise money to go get a free agent. It's just that's where you're at now. Is like, you want a good program, you want a good football team, we'll give money so we can go get these players. That's just untenable. That can't last for the rest of our lives, or maybe it can. I think it would be more fair, and me personally, if you don't want to limit somebody's earning power, but tell these universities, and I don't know how you're going to do it when some universities are making $40 million a year more than the other universities and other conferences, but tell these universities, you don't have a salary cap on your roster, but you do have a cap to how much you can spend on the entirety of your football program. So if you want to pay your coach $12.5 million a year, great. That's coming out of the salary of your quarterback. So maybe these coaching salaries can be lessened to a realistic number, and you don't have to keep paying these coaches exorbitant amounts of money and give them these crazy ass buyouts where you don't get any of the reward. You just have all the risk. You assume all the risk but none of the reward. And you can level it and make it a normal stable business model. And then the player salaries can be the other half of the equation. But yes, it will happen at some point. And ironically, it's what the big schools are going to be arguing about, because Ohio State and Alabama and Georgia don't like losing Marvin Jones Jr.'s. They don't. Jamison Williams left Alabama or Ohio State, right?
Yes,
Joe Burrow left Ohio State. Now, I know that was before the portal and NIL became what it is now, but that's only going to increase. They do all this recruiting, land these 5-star kids, and then 2 years later they're on somebody else's roster. They don't like that, and they want to stop it. And right now, although it doesn't show with these 4 teams that are in I guess Washington, the 4 teams that are in the playoffs, the portal is changing the game, where it is making it there is more parity. And apparently, the number 1 player in the country is going to go to Nebraska. So, man, we are living life again in college football. I hope Nebraska goes on a run. They have great fans, and that's a great former program, and they deserve some success. They were never going to get back there, apparently, with the current rules in place. Now NIL and the portal give them a chance at relevance again. Same with Miami, honestly, unfortunately.
But not Florida for some reason.
Weird, right?
It's
What's
so
going on,
weird.
Billy?
I don't know.
Get it together in Gainesville, man.
Beham FSU, wake up, gents. Greetings from Birmingham, birthplace to Walter Goggins, a.k.a. Uncle Baby Billy from the outstanding show The Righteous Gemstones.
Yep. I thought he grew up in Atlanta, though, that guy, Walter Goggins. Maybe he was born in Birmingham, but he was, I'm pretty sure one of my mom's friends taught him in high school.
Yeah, I said birthplace, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like Jim Harbaugh was like born in Akron, but then he grew up in California, so like who gets to claim him, you know?
Right, yeah.
One of those things. Anywho, I was born in Fort Pierce, but I haven't been back in 40 years, so. But y'all can claim me. Stand
they're
up.
claiming you. You know they're claiming you. Is there a sign as you get into Fort Pierce?
Right at home of Jeff Luke and Haslam Hajimandi.
That's right.
How are you feeling about next season's running back room? Is Lawrence Toafili back for another run, and can Keziah Holmes somewhat fill Trey Benson's cleats? Well, let's not push Trey out the door yet. Running back is such, if you don't have a Dalvin, I'm just like, all right, whatever, fine, we'll be all right there. So I'm not losing sleep over it. But they're going to bring in the young man from Doherty, Georgia. Cam Davis. So
yeah.
I'm excited to see
Daughtry. I think we
Daughtry?
pronounce it Daughtry. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Excited to see what he's all about. He seems pretty dynamic, pretty electric. So maybe he can give a shot in the arm to that room. But yeah, they'll be good at
baseball player too.
Yeah.
That kid. We don't know about Trey yet. I mean, I'm assuming he'll be putting his name in the NFL draft, but that's an assumption and not one based in any real facts. It's just a speculation on my part.
Educated guess.
Educated guess. He's been here 2 years. He's proven a lot. He scored 14 touchdowns this year. He's run for, 1,800 yards in 2 years here. He's proven a lot.
That's his position, right?
It's running back, yes. You only have a small shelf life anyway. So I would assume he's gone. Toafili, I would not assume he's gone. I would assume Toafili would come back. And then after that, you don't feel great about it, and that doesn't mean you feel bad about it. It just means you don't know really what you have. Toafili, I don't think they think he's an every down back, but he's been a very good college football player. He is productive. But I don't know, I wouldn't be stunned if they added a piece there. Because you just don't, Keziah, you've got a lot of guys that haven't really done much at the college level. And then Toafili, who's more of a Swiss Army knife than a full-fledged every down running back. So, yeah, there's some question marks there, right? But the good news is you think it's a talented room. It's Florida State. You're always going to have running backs and good ones. But it's just not proven yet. That's not a proven room at all, besides Toafili. Unless Benson comes back, then you feel good about it.
Well, let's keep it in Birmingham. Tennis ump. Wake up. Is it just me, or is the AG thing a bit embarrassing for you guys as well? No comment, tennis ump. You might want to delete that. They'll find where you live.
It's but I get the sentiment, right? It's like it feels like, as we've talked about, what can really be gained of it. There's not going to be a court victory, almost certainly, and it seems like political grandstanding. But if it gets me them receipts and it gets me them emails and texts or whatever they might find in discovery, if that even gets to that phase, I'm all for it.
What would be the smoking gun for you? That would be.
It would be like I said, like a Sankey to Bill Hancock text exchange after the Alabama-Georgia game, or maybe even the Thursday before the conference championships. Like, look, is Kurt going to be pushing hard that we deserve to? Is he going to keep this narrative going? Stuff like that. So
less about like actual pressure on the committee members and more so about like a narrative being created, like layers to this thing. Because
if there's real pressure from Sankey or from Hancock to Corrigan, who was the commissioner, the chairman of the playoff selection committee, and Hancock is the executive director, if there's emails from him or texts from him to Corrigan like, hey, what's the status of that room? What's the vote right now? Can you convince 3 other people to vote for the SEC? If there's stuff like that where Hancock is putting all this pressure down on Corrigan, then yeah, I think that's your smoking gun. I think it's maybe more likely Sankey would text to Corrigan or text to Hancock talking about ESPN's role.
I think that's what happened, though. So, to me,
I do think that's what happened.
Yeah,
but it would be cool that it was actually there in public for people to see, and it wouldn't be so much speculation. See, we're not crazy. Florida State fans could wear that shirt. See, exclamation point, question mark, exclamation point. We're not crazy. And then it would show the text messages of Sankey to Bill Hancock.
No one's talking about old Jimmy Pitaro either from ESPN. What if he's I feel he's probably the most sound of mind to not have a paper trail, but everybody else out there, yeah, fair game.
You're right. They might have been pretty dumb. You're absolutely right, Aslan. They never would have thought this was even something that could happen.
I just wonder, how can you subpoena that though? If they're based in Grapevine, Texas, and you as being a member of the NCAA and playing intercollegiate football, you've agreed to allow them to determine a champion by this sort of process or whatever? Like, where does, it's not a rhetorical question. I'm sure somebody there that's got a law background is yelling at his computer right now or whatever, but like, that's my whole thing. I just wonder, like, where does the jurisdiction on this to where they're going to have to do that? Like, what was Hancock's response the other day was, we'll look at this very intensely or whatever, and we're taking it seriously, but at the end of the day, this feels like an overly aggressive response.
Aggressive, yeah, that was funny.
A ranking of a college football playoff team, and it's like,
well, yeah, man, but if you can argue, which you can in this case, that there are potentially tens of millions of dollars lost to a state institution, well, then yeah, I guess that's where you can that's the the loophole that you get in and make this relevant, I guess, where a judge might actually see it one day, which who knows if that would ever happen.
They'll be talking about in the lead up to Florida State making a march for a national title next year. Going to see like it was awkward having Jim Phillips there handing the ACC trophy out to Florida State. Imagine when whoever the college football playoff committee's got to hand the trophy to Mike Norvell next year when there's like a lawsuit about to finally drop.
Yeah,
So anyhow, Tennis Up's got a question. Appreciate your sentiment about the AG thing. He tells me that we're in solid shape to finish strong in both the portal and the regular recruiting, so patience, Aslan, patience. What kind of effect do you think that the early enrollees being able to practice and bowl prep will have on giving them a quick jump start towards next year? Thanks as always, guys.
I don't know, honestly. That's so many people, Aslan, in our line of work are afraid to say they don't know. Not this guy.
Not this show.
This show. We'll tell you. We'll plead ignorance on everything if we have to. We don't care. We're not too proud. It can only be a positive, but I don't know what if you get 5 bowl practices in, I don't know what that really does for you heading into next March when you start spring practice. It's better than not having the 5 practices.
What about,
but other than that, it's hard to qualify or quantify just what it means for the development. It doesn't hurt it, though. I don't know how much it expedites it, but it certainly doesn't hinder it.
Yeah, what about our old guy, Jeremy Pruitt, ho part ho. So it's like, all right, you're going to get 5 days worth of practices or whatever. Like, you're going to be thrown into the deep end. You're going to see how it looks at practice. You're going to see how it looks in the film room and then how they take it to the practice field and how it works out on a game day. And then you're going to get like a month and a half break. And then you come back and you're going to have to jump into spring football. But you already have that experience underneath your belt. I mean, surely you're going to have better footing, I think, starting spring football. Now, is that going to be enough runway to have like Luke Kromenhoek, seriously, contend for being the starting quarterback for this team next year? I don't think so. But not to be like too generic and take your stance on a quarter, but like it's definitely not going to hurt. But I do like the fact that it's, all the times I started jobs and like, I think about starting like school when I was in high school. I always think we started like in the middle of August, right? It was always so weird. We'd have like 2 weeks of school, then we had Labor Day weekend. But when I started college, like our first day of school was like August 25th or 26th. So we literally had like a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of school, and then we had the Labor Day weekend. And it was cool to like go off to college and then come right back home and then go back off to college again, kind of. Okay. So it feels like this creates this kind of comfortable, integration into how tough this really is going to be for you. So, but yeah, too early to tell, but we'll ask Coach Norvell on next Tuesday, we're going to be able to finally go watch practice and talk to him. So yeah, he'll be able to talk about that, right? Not particular players, but just the value he probably has in creating this. So Tuesday, right? That's when we get back out of practice.
That's when we get to watch practice. Yeah, I thought we got availability this Friday, but maybe that has been scrapped. I don't know. Maybe they don't want us to ask him about Cam Ward.
Yeah. They have been practicing, by the way, everybody. So they have been practicing. We just haven't been out there.
Who's all practicing, Aslan? Run it down.
Yeah, we don't know that. Although, I should just go hang out next to the sod cemetery.
Baseball stadium. Yeah.
Well,
just go. Yeah, that's public property.
It is.
Just go see who walks past. Yeah.
Take roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
Random_John, good morning, guys. Hopefully the Warchant bug everyone seemed to have caught is gone now and you're feeling spiffy. Not quite, John. Not quite. I will try to be more brief in my questions moving forward to keep things moving unless you want to read my clever, quippy writing. I had this thought, though, Corey. Like, if there's 23 questions, I mean, think about it. I've got to read the question. So if it takes me a minute to read the question, we're already at 23 minutes, everybody. Do the math.
Yeah. Smart. But it usually Lord knows how long my answers are going to be.
Yeah.
Anywhere from 3 to 12 minutes.
But I
So
think
you got to factor that in too.
I think I'm usually able to get these questions in within 15 to 20 seconds. So
Yeah, that's true.
But point taken. Thanks, John. Here we go. 2 questions. With so much talent leaving the team this year, what offensive schemes and adjustments do you expect to see from FSU to maximize their remaining talent? The system is the system, man.
Yeah,
right?
they're not going to change anything.
Yeah,
It'll be the same offense you've been watching for 4 years.
Maybe more deep shots for a guy like Cam Ward that's more comfortable doing that sort of stuff. But I wouldn't foresee a lot. And then given the current state of the portal, are there any potential domino effects that could impact FSU's remaining recruiting targets? Love you guys and all the dear listeners. Go Noles.
Well, yeah, there are. I can't. I'm not going to lay out a domino scenario, but that's how it always works. Yes.
Jeremiah Smith you're worried about impacting the remaining recruiting targets and I don't think there's anybody in the portal.
I thought he was talking about the portal. But yeah, so look, but Jeremiah Smith, there's a domino there either way. That's the kind of the awkwardness of portal season and recruiting season is that say there's a really good wide receiver. I don't know, there's like a kid from North Texas that everybody wants.
Oh,
he's got like 40 scholarships.
He committed to Kentucky. Jeremy Macklin's cousin. He was at Missouri.
Oh, okay, he was at
Texas.
Macklin. That's right. Yeah. So let's say he was somebody that was really interested in Florida State. Well, do you sign him? Do you want a commitment from him if it might alienate the number one wide receiver in the country, who's a high school kid, who might be, well, that's if he's going to be playing, where's you know what I mean? I think that's where dominoes can fall. And if you get Jeremiah Smith, maybe the domino is there's another wide receiver in the portal that wanted to come to Florida State that's good enough that could start, but goes somewhere else because he knows Jeremiah Smith's there. Like that, those are the dominoes that can fall, and they fall at every position. Every position. But I'm not smart enough or well-versed enough to know which specific dominoes would fall in a certain way. But yes, that's how it – like Jalen Key last year was a domino. Well, isn't that his name, the kid that went to Alabama?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a domino that hurt Florida State, but it was a domino that fell. So you've got to and I don't even know if they've got another safety after that.
I think Ashland Barker. I want to say I think they ended up.
Yeah, that was
Barker
the JUCO kid, and they also, another domino that fell was they moved Kevin Noles to safety, that they would not have done if Jalen Key had committed. So there's that's just the personnel. That's the life of an 85-man roster. Is there's dominoes that fall at other schools with other prospects, with other commitments or non-commitments that affect everything.
Teacher Noel, I look forward to listening to this while I'm on my morning walk at 5:30 a.m. No question this week, though. Thanks for all you do. I love the show.
Morning walks at 5:30, Aslan.
Yeah, look at that.
Thank you very much for just telling us that. That's always nice.
For listening and teaching the youth of America. Appreciate it, man.
But 5:30 for a
crazy.
walk? Why can't you walk after school? 5:30 p.m.
Well, the sun's down by then. That's not fun.
Oh, well, good point. Hey, talk about a domino, something that, again, I think we need to revisit just a little bit, Aslan, is what is going to happen if they get a commitment from one of these portal kids, quarterbacks this week? Is Tate Rodemaker on the roster next week? That is a real domino. Because, again, you still have a game to play, and Cam Ward and DJ can't play in the Orange Bowl for you. So that is you talk about dominoes, that's a domino right there. Is who, if one of those kids commits, who is playing quarterback for Florida State in the Orange Bowl? I'm not saying Tate won't. I'm just saying, as we all know, because we're adults with IQs, there is a possibility that he would not appreciate that very much and go put his name in the portal quicker, try to get in the portal quickly so he can find a home and not wait till after the new year to find a home. And, so you might be without a quarterback. So
I think he plays. I think there's probably a lot of transparency and conversations happening between Norvell and Tokars and Alan
has to be right
Tate.
now. Like Tate has family members. I'm sure he's on social media. He knows these guys are coming.
No.
But I wonder what that means for his immediate future in Tallahassee.
Yeah, I get it. You might not want to go play that team with the roster that's going to be left after all the defections and things of that nature. But I still think he plays. I'd be very surprised if it would be Brock Glenn. And then, I don't know, at that point, man, I don't know. I might put money on Georgia.
Yeah.
Just kidding, everybody. Noles for life. Woosley, 321 good morning. If our signing class finishes with only the current players committed, who do you think will be able to make a significant impact as a true freshman in 24? KJ Bolden. I want to say I like the kid, the Elijah Moore kid. I think from is it from Missouri, the receiver? I like him for some reason, but I always have to defer to rankings, right? I'd say Bolden, Lester, and maybe Landon Thomas if Jaheim leaves, and obviously Marquiston's gone, and maybe they don't go after anybody in the portal that's a tight end. That'd be my picks.
I think that's a good guess. I think Landon Thomas and Bolden are the two. I think Bolden can play immediately and perhaps start immediately. And then I think Landon Thomas will play a lot starting like 3 or 4 games into the season once he gets adjusted. Maybe he'll get – is he one of the ones that gets to practice? I don't know. I don't know if he's an early enrollee or not, but that would be very beneficial for someone like him to get – what would that be? What do you get, 15 spring practices? So he could have 20 practices-ish going into the summer, and a full off-season of weight conditioning and weight training could get him much more ready to play come Ireland in August.
Okay, a few more here. Let's go to our guy, Island Chief. Wake up, still nursing hope that MyBookie will pay off my national championship bet through some unprecedented occurrence. There was a window when the cash out was decent. There was a time there, and that's the thing. You can always cash out when you make these future bets, which you can do at mybookie.ag and use the promo code WARCHANT. Get your instant cash deposit bonus when you use that promo code. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. It's still a 14-point line with Florida State and Georgia. We're again a few days away from the bowl season starting with a gusto, with Ohio taking on Georgia Southern.
Okay, nice. What bowl is that?
I don't have that. They don't list exactly what that bowl game is, so I do apologize for everybody that's dialed into that one. But all the games are available. The Myrtle Beach Bowl. Ooh.
There we go. I figured it was. I figured it was the Myrtle Beach. What a great Myrtle Beach Bowl matchup that is.
The Bobcats and Eagles. Love it.
Yeah.
Point total 48. Who's going to root for the under on that one? Let's go with the over. Make your picks when you go to mybookie.ag and use the promo code WARCHANT for your instant cash deposit bonus. All right, winding things down here, Corey, as I try to switch screens here. Island Chief says Santa is on his way with gifts for the good boys and girls and a lump of coal for the members of the College Football Playoff Committee. What do you think Coach Norvell has wished for as a present? What present that you could actually give would you give him?
Never-ending life. So a present we could actually give.
Yeah.
Maybe an invitation to my wedding?
Ooh, all right.
I was thinking about that because he said this was a joke. That I interviewed him back before the season started in July. Maybe it was May. I don't know. Some booster stop in Atlanta, and I hung out with him for a few minutes beforehand. I just gotten engaged, so it must have been May. Got engaged to Stephanie, and he said congratulations and all that. And I was like, hey, she really wants you to come to the wedding because she's in love with Mike Norvell. And he's like, oh, yeah, just send me an invitation. I know he was being polite, and I was jokingly saying it. But when I retold that story to Stephanie, she got very excited. Like, you've got to invite him. Yeah. And I'm like, number one, I think that's kind of a weird overstepping of bounds of what our relationship is. We're not friends, but we're friendly. But, I don't know that and also, if for whatever reason Mike Norvell did come to Corey Clark's wedding, then it's all about Mike Norvell.
It is, yeah.
And we don't want that, do we, Aslan?
Stephanie,
whose day is it supposed to be?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's supposed to be my day.
It is.
Not that silver-haired millionaire. It's supposed to be the bald thousandaires day, and that's what we should be celebrating. So, but yeah, I guess I could give him an invite to the wedding and tell him to be in and out in about 20 minutes. Don't overstay your welcome, Mike.
I'd give him a case of vitamin energy. I don't know if I'd give
him
the 8 hours sleep because I feel like our guy needs to get some more sleep. I mean, he looks fine, but there's not enough hours in the day for our guy. But I'd probably give him the vitamin energy. I'd give him the workout plus. Help him on some of those runs early in the morning against Dante Anderson and whoever else is going to step up to the challenge next year. Or maybe some kind of cool plaque to commemorate, like whatever that trophy was that Jimbo had ready at his office in College Station for the.
Yeah, go get that thing.
Take that away and then like put the photo of the Florida State team in there. Like, yeah, champs in my book, Coach Norvell.
Yeah, undefeated.
I think we have here maybe last one here. Nole 92. Unless we can reduce the cost of leaving the ACC, I say pursuing a lawsuit is a no-win situation. I believe not only ESPN but also Fox influenced or even rigged the committee's decision. However, I believe the real reason we were left out is because of the garbage conference we are trapped in. It would be great to totally expose the fraud of the college football playoff and the big networks. Also, it would be so satisfying to expose the scripted talking heads as the liars they are. However, I can't wait for this 2024 election, Corey. Can you feel how much of a calming, united moment that's going to be in our nation's history? However, we are trying to get Disney, ABC, ESPN, or Fox to pay us a lot of money in a new conference, so embarrassing them might not prove very fruitful in the long run. We are in this situation for one reason. We are in the ACC, and we have to get out. Thoughts?
Well, yeah, I don't think anybody disputes that. I think that if Florida State was undefeated in the SEC, clearly, yes, they'd be the number one team in the country and going to the Sugar Bowl. But, yes, they do need to get out of this conference. That was made abundantly clear 2 Sundays ago. But it was crystal before that. It's not like we were still wondering and hemming and hawing. That just reaffirmed it. That, yes, this is a joke. This is ridiculous. Florida State got screwed by the perception of the ACC and because Clemson only had 8 wins. So that's why they're – well, no, they're not in the playoff because an SEC team had to be. But, yes, whatever. I get it. They need to get out of the ACC. And hopefully it's sooner rather than later. But where are they going to go? Big Ten. Big Ten, maybe.
Last one, Gio Nole, wake up. Hello, my favorite podcast crew. First, I would like to ask you all not to fall into the trap. Just like Herb Street and others, you all have a platform to calm the people down and voice your concerns about being too aggressive towards certain networks and people working for them. Too late, Gio.
It's
Come
over,
with us.
Gio.
Grab your pitchfork.
Yeah, get your pitchfork
Get
and
a
your
torch.
Yeah, we're storming the castle.
We're storming Bristol.
We're storming Bristol. We're burning it to the ground. No, yes, there's a real concern. You know, I don't know like Herb Street, and I'm not saying this lightly, and I'm not saying this ironically. He might need security in Ireland. If he wants to go out on the town and runs into some Florida State fans, he's going to hear some really not nice things said to him.
I think he'll get a beer thrown on him. Like he'd get a beer thrown on him at a bar.
And again, I will say, I don't think he'd be dumb enough to go into a bar where there are Florida State fans. Because, again, I certainly would not want anybody to physically assault the guy. Verbally assault him all you want. Just keep it to him.
I don't know
and not
about
his
that.
family.
I mean, hey, I don't know. We got to talk to
but I'm
legal.
saying, like,
We got to talk to our legal department to make sure we can.
Don't threaten him. That's a verbal assault. You know what I mean? But I'm not telling you to just say, "Hey, Kirk."
You can rib him.
Please, yeah, but please don't. I do get it. Like, people are very, very angry, and he doesn't help by keeping perpetually responding and making them angry and angrier, and not being understanding at all, apparently. But yes, we are certainly not advocating for or imploring people to go be physical with Kirk Herbstreit. But I am worried that he might need, like, again, it's football. It's not life or death. It's not that serious. But people drinking in Ireland a night before a game, inebriated, seeing him, it might not go well. And I hope that's taken into consideration by the power for ESPN and obviously maybe some bar owners in Dublin, if they have any idea, if they're clocking this story at all. But yeah, I do worry about that, or the next time he's in Tallahassee, because again, man, he has never felt this kind of vitriol in his life.
Well, he did move away from Columbus. He literally moved his family to Nashville because he couldn't take living in Columbus anymore.
And think about that. He couldn't take living in Columbus, where he was the starting quarterback and beloved, because he had a radio show, I think. I think he used to have a daily radio show in Columbus. But let's just say he doesn't have the thickest skin. So much so that he moved out of his hometown, where he was a star quarterback for the school he graduated for.
He was a quarterback.
Sorry, yeah. Well, I assume anytime you're the quarterback at Ohio State, you're the star. But you're right. He wasn't great, but he was the starting quarterback.
Yeah, there you go.
And he had to move away from that. So clearly he doesn't have the thickest skin, which I don't either. But that's why I don't read my comments, man. But anyway, the point being, I get it.
But why would you go at him then, Corey? Like, if you're similar to him, like, why would you take a shot at the guy to get likes and stuff, man? You're 47 years old. You got a family, man.
I would like to think that I have a role to play in what we do here in this
ecosystem.
In what we do at Warchant, And also, it does bother me when somebody in that position has a platform much bigger than anybody else's and then can't take criticism for having that platform and saying something that people don't agree with. Like, there is pushback from that. And then he was also wrong in all that. And, yeah, I'm chasing likes, Aslan. Have you met me? I mean, I'm pandering to my audience. And I want my likes. But I would never click on my comments because Lord knows the Alabama folks are in there saying whatever they're saying. And so, yeah, the point remains, don't assault the guy. Number one, he's huge. He'd probably kick your ass. But don't assault the guy. Don't be physically threatening to the guy. But it won't be a pretty scene if he's out and about with Florida State fans, and that might legitimately be for the rest of his life. Yeah. That's how mad Florida State fans are, and I think they thought it would go away after a couple of days or a couple hours, and it's not. And you can tell because we're in the middle of the following week, 10 days later, and he's tweeting out a screed about how about his opinions and blah, 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 how much he loves Florida State, but it's the 4 best teams, yada, yada, yada. Like, it's clearly still bothering him.
I wonder if he's
not going to stop bothering him.
He's going to have to root for Florida State because the only way this fan base moves on is that if they have to win one. I know it won't totally erase what happened this year, but the sooner this program wins another national title, the sooner Kirk Herbstreit can probably interact with college football fans on the internet and not get dragged by Florida State fans. But at the same time,
it's like Bartman getting invited to the Cubs parade.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm sure I bet he's probably texted Kirby. He's like, Kirby, beat the crap out of these guys for me,
buddy,
you know?
He is going to be watching that game with popcorn, hoping Georgia wins by 80. And that's what he loathes Florida State right now, not knowing the reaction is coming from what he did, and he's like I said, he's reacting to the reaction. But it's like, you poke somebody in the face with a stick, and then they punch you. You're like, what'd you punch me for?
Yeah.
That's what he did to the Florida State fan base. And so, yes, he wants Florida State. He is not a fan of Florida State. He never will be. It kind of reminds me, not nearly as serious, criminally wise anyway, but in 2014 when the Jameis stuff was really every day, and all these people on Twitter would say all this ridiculous stuff, not just about Jameis or Jimbo, but about the university as a whole, or the fan base as a whole, and then be unbelievably just recoil when they got pushback. Like, what? I can't believe the FSU Twitter sucks. They're awful. And it's like, yeah, you riled them up by saying their quarterback was a rapist and they stole a national championship. You riled them up. So what did you expect? And I don't understand what Kirk expected. And on another note, real quick, because we're still talking about Herbstreit, and then we got to go.
Well, I got a 30-second question. Gio actually asked a question. But
sorry, real quick. See, this is my 6-minute answer. If he had done the same thing to Washington, he would hate Washington fans right now. Washington fans would have not gone gently into that night either. Yeah. He would be getting it from that side too. It's not just that Florida State fans are evil and awful and lunatics. Anybody in Florida State's fan base's position would be reacting just like this. That said, don't hurt the man, anyone. We're not telling you to do that. You can tweet mean things at him, whatever. It's a free country. Elon Musk loves free speech, but just don't physically harm the person or threaten to, because that is idiotic and that makes you look like a complete idiot, so don't do that.
I think we should take no more than 6 to 8 portal guys, 3 on the offensive line, 3 on the defensive line, 1 linebacker, 1 quarterback. Thanks for all you do.
And another thing about Herbstreit. No, just kidding. Yeah, that's where I think their number will be. I would think somewhere between 8 and 10, but 8, maybe 6, I guess. Right now, maybe it's going to be 0, Aslan. I'm waiting. We're still waiting, aren't we, buddy? Still waiting for one of these portal hits. But yeah, I think that's right.
I just wonder, what's the? Not saying what's the wait in anybody? The guy that enters the portal on December 13th. Why didn't you enter the portal on December 5th, man? What happened in those 8 days?
It's weird, right? But that said, as we watched the portal on Wednesday, there were some more big names that went in. Yeah. It's weird. I'm 100% with you, but it is odd that there's still Marvin Jones Jr. went in.
Yeah, December 12th.
9 days after the SEC championship game. Yeah. So I don't know why, but he did, and he's certainly somebody you want. And there might be bigger names today when people are listening to this that enter the portal.
All right, that's a wrap. Thanks so much for listening, everybody. We love you all. Maybe a show tomorrow, depending on if there's other stuff going on in the world of news in Florida State. So just subscribe to the podcast, and anytime we drop a show, you'll get notified of it. It's crazy how that works. Hit the thumbs up if you could, just for Corey's angst.
My angst, I'm going to get better, guys. I'm going to get better.
The Olympic flame, the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier do not know the longevity and the endurance and the stamina of Corey Clark and the venom he has, because he's feeling it from you folks. You energize him. He's fighting your fights with his followers behind him. So support the show.
I'm trying, folks. I'm really trying. Also, we got it before we let it go. It looks like Primo Spears will be eligible to play on the basketball team here for the next few games because of the ruling in Ohio that said that two-time transfers are now immediately eligible, just in time for Daryl Jackson to not play a game at all this season. But whatever, he still gets to play in the bowl. But Primo Spears he was their highest profile transfer from Georgetown. He averaged 16 points a game and 5 assists a game for Georgetown. He should be immediately eligible. We have not, as we recorded this, we have not heard back from Florida State, but I don't know why he wouldn't play. So he might be joining the team starting Saturday when they play SMU at home in the Civic Center.
He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.